Welcome to the Explainer. Imagine trying to land a commercial jet without ever stepping foot inside a flight simulator first. You just wouldn't do it, right? Well, assessing a highly complex artificial intelligence management system shouldn't be any different. Today, we're exploring the absolutely critical practice of conducting ISO/IEC 4201-2023 audit simulations. As a lead auditor, think of this as your personal flight simulator. It's exactly how we build the crucial muscle memory required to assess high-stakes organizational systems entirely without the real-world risks.
Okay, let's dive right into this mission briefing. We're going to cover the audit flight simulator, executing the simulation, evaluating non-conformities versus improvements, predictive scenario modeling, and finally, refining your audit strategy. Let's get to it.
Section 1. The Audit Flight Simulator, Safe Practice for High Stakes.
Because real-world audits are basically high-stakes events, you really need what we call an audit simulation. Look, audits determine compliance, they pinpoint critical AI system gaps, and they directly influence top management strategic decisions. So you don't really want to practice these intense evaluations live on the organizational battlefield, do you? An audit simulation gives you a controlled, risk-free environment. It's basically a sandbox where you can practice the entire auditing process, hunt for nonconformities, and evaluate your evidence, all without disrupting live business operations or risking any regulatory blowback. When you step into this simulation, your main goal is to stress test the management system. You're familiarizing yourself with the intricacies of the IEC 42001-2023 standards so thoroughly that when the real audit rolls around, it just feels like second nature.
Now, every successful mission needs meticulous preparation. For us, that's the planning phase. It rolls out in 4 chronological steps. First up, you define the scope. Basically, what exactly are we looking at here? Is it the whole AI management system, or maybe just a specific machine learning diagnostic tool? Next, you develop the plan, setting the schedule, assigning team roles. Third, you create your checklist. This is your guiding document, built straight from the ISO/IEC 42001-2023 requirements, so nothing critical slips through the cracks. And finally, you review the documentation. You're digging into the organization's AI policies, risk assessments, and incident response plans before you ever conduct a single interview. These 4 steps, they literally build the absolute foundation of your simulation.
All right, moving on to Section 2, executing the simulation into the field.
So, once your plan is totally locked in, it is time to head out into the field. This phase is all about those core interactive activities. First, you're going to conduct stakeholder interviews. You'll sit down with AI system administrators, data scientists, and, everyday employees just to test their actual knowledge of the AI security processes. Are they just nodding along, or do they truly understand their role in the management system? Next, you observe processes in action. You actually watch how the organization handles AI model monitoring or data protection right there in real time. Then, you review internal documents. You're checking system logs and incident reports to see if the written procedures actually match reality. Through this whole process, your primary goal is to collect objective evidence. You aren't gathering opinions here, you are gathering hard, verifiable facts to back up your eventual findings.
I actually want to pause for a second and reflect on this quote. Simulated audits mirror the actual auditing process, but allow auditors to practice without the complexities and risks of conducting a real audit. I mean, this is the real beauty of the execution phase in a simulation. You get the space to develop your critical thinking. You can practice asking those difficult follow-up questions during an interview, or dig way down deep into a suspicious system log, totally free from the anxiety of making a rookie mistake that could negatively impact the audited organization.
Which brings us to Section 3, non-conformities versus improvements, evaluating findings.
Okay, so once you've collected all your evidence, the simulation pivots to a highly critical analytical phase. You've got this massive pile of data, logs, and interview notes. Now, you have to categorize what you've found. This is where your judgment as a lead auditor is truly forged. Now, what's really interesting about this is the sharp contrast between our 2 main categories. On one side, you have strict nonconformities. These are direct failures to meet the standards requirements. For example, if an AI system straight up fails to log its data access requests or its model training parameters, that is a strict nonconformity. It's a breach of the rules. On the flip side, we have opportunities for improvement, or OFIs. This is when a process is technically compliant, like it doesn't break the rules, but you notice it could definitely be optimized to boost overall performance.
And honestly, distinguishing between a major failure and a minor tweak is arguably one of your absolute most important jobs. Correct classification ensures that an organization's resources are spent fixing real breaches, not just endlessly chasing perfection. Think about it. If you categorize a minor inefficiency as a major nonconformity, you're forcing the organization to divert critical time and money away from real, actual threats. Getting this right in the simulation is exactly what ensures organizational resilience out there in the real world.
Let's move on to Section 4, Predictive Scenario Modeling, Looking Ahead.
So, we've planned the audit, we've executed it, and we've categorized our findings. Now we're reaching the real climax of the explainer. Because a modern ISO/IEC 42001-2023 auditor doesn't just look backward at what already happened, they use simulation data to look forward. This brings us right to predictive scenario modeling. Let's play a little game of what if. During your simulation, you'll analyze threats using data-driven scenario modeling. Like, what if we experience AI model drift? Well, the business impact there is the misclassification of data. Maybe an AI diagnostic tool suddenly starts giving out incorrect medical advice. Yikes. The mitigation strategy for that is implementing predictive analytics and monitoring. Or what if our cloud provider fails? We face a service outage, which is mitigated by redundant backup systems. What if we suffer a cyber attack resulting in a massive data breach? We mitigate that through incident response simulations. By actively modeling these specific scenarios during your audit simulation, you're learning how to anticipate risks long before they ever materialize into an actual disaster.
Now let's look at exactly how we quantify those risks. 72. This isn't just some random number pulled out of thin air. It represents a quantitative risk score out of 100. Let's say during your simulation, you assess the likelihood of a specific data breach at a really high level, like an 8 out of 10. And the impact of that breach would be very high, say a 9 out of 10. Well, 8 times 9 gives you an overall risk score of 72. As an auditor, you use this hard, quantifiable data to verify if the organization's risk treatment plan is actually prioritizing the right threats. It takes the guesswork completely out of the equation. And this brilliantly illustrates why quantitative findings are just so incredibly powerful in an audit. Take incident response times, for example. The organization's internal policy sets a strict target of 8 hours to resolve a critical security incident. But the actual data you pulled during your simulation shows an average response time of 12 hours. Tracking this specific metric instantly exposes a critical 4-hour gap where the entire system is vulnerable. It is objective, undeniable evidence that corrective action is absolutely required. No arguing with the data, right?
All right, final section. Section 5, Refining Your Audit Strategy, Continuous Evolution.
Finally, we take absolutely everything we've uncovered in the simulator, the nonconformities, the risk scores, those performance gaps, and we use it to completely refine our overall audit strategy. You see, ISO IEC 40001-2023 is heavily focused on continuous evolution. And that's not just for the organization being audited, but for the auditing process itself. Leveraging these insights allows you to proactively optimize your entire approach. Instead of just reacting to past events, you learn to anticipate future and emerging risks, like the rapid integration of new AI technologies. You learn how to optimize resource allocation, spending your valuable audit time where the risk is highest. You learn how to really tailor your audit plans to the specific context of different organizations. Because, let's face it, a massive global enterprise needs a vastly different audit than a 10-person startup. Ultimately, you use these simulation insights to foster a true culture of continual improvement, ensuring the management system remains rock solid and resilient over the long term.
So the absolutely crucial point here is this. Compliance is just the baseline. It's the bare minimum. The real goal of practicing these simulations and truly mastering the ISO/IEC 42001-2023 standard is to build true, lasting resilience. As you step out of the simulator and head into the real world, you have to ask yourself, is the management system you are looking at truly ready for tomorrow's threats, or is it just built to pass today's audit? Keep that question in the back of your mind as you conduct your evaluations. Thanks so much for joining me on this explainer, and happy auditing out there!